Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah, but you can also call me Scribble if you like. Today I'm actually testing out these metallic watercolors, and I have to say I have been wanting a little set of metallic watercolors for so long, and I was really excited because recently I saw a set that was on sale in store. And this was just before a lockdown happened in my area, so to be honest it was perfect timing. But anyways, I bought the set and here I am testing it out. This set is called the Jazz Art Voyager watercolors, and I believe it is the Brights set, and these are a really nice sort of pearlescent shiny metallic paint. And I like the Jazz Art brand because it's sort of in your like medium price range. It's not like crazy expensive or anything like that. They are quite affordable, but they're also not cheap, if you get what I mean. So let's get these out and try a little bit of a swatch. You guys know I love to swatch new art supplies. It's kind of addicting, honestly. I just find it so satisfying, and it's very helpful as well for testing out colors before you actually start on an artwork. Just ignore my terrible hand lettering for the title. Obviously, I'm not the best at calligraphy, but I kind of wanted to test out it a little bit. Maybe I should test out some like hand lettering for a video. That might be interesting. Let me know in the comments if you are interested in seeing that or not. But overall, with these watercolors, the colors actually do look nice and vibrant. I really love the deep purple. I just find that is one of my favorite colors, and it's quite interesting that they have included a black in the set as well, and it's actually a metallic black, so that's cool. So with that out of the way, now it's time to make some art. And as you can see, I have some watercolor paper here taped down, and I'm just adding in a few splotches of color with a lot of water on the paper, and that's because I want to get some nice sort of soft blends to begin with. And today I'm actually making a bit of a galaxy artwork. It has been quite a while since I have made my last galaxy, or at least galaxy space themed artwork, and I absolutely love that kind of stuff. I just find it so fun and pretty to look at, and I wanted to test these watercolors out to see how they would do with a lot of blending and layering. And overall, it didn't do too bad. However, I have to say, with the nature of these watercolors, they are more opaque than your regular watercolors. So the layering kind of got covered up a little bit, and it was a little bit more difficult to do than just like a galaxy with regular watercolors, but I still had a lot of fun, and I think the results are quite interesting. It did take a lot of experimenting to get an effect that I was pleased with, but it was really fun to try and push these watercolors to the limit and see how much they could layer and what I could do with them. Try and like stretch the rules a little bit. I wanted the main colors of this galaxy to be purple because obviously purple's my favorite color, but it works really well for galaxies. But then I added a little bit of red, and I found that it was not the perfect red to mix with purple because it was a little bit more of a warm red instead of a cool red. But then after that I just decided to go into experimental mode, and I added bits of blue and bits of black all over it, and then I sort of got a wet tissue and just like blended it all out. And after that I felt like it needed just a little bit more detail, so I decided to add in some trees over the top, as if this is a sort of scene that you can see when you're looking up at the sky and you see a galaxy, and there's sort of trees all around you and even like a little bird or bat flying across. And that sort of gave it a little bit more detail that I was happy with. And obviously the dark silhouetted trees just added a lot more contrast to it. And after this I added in some stars over the top with the metallic white watercolor, and then it was time to take off the tape and see the final results. So that was a pretty interesting artwork, and now I want to try and do some more art to see what kind of things I can do with this. And with this artwork, I'm going to try and test how well it works with other art supplies like Copic markers, for example. Now I decided to draw a portrait of a lady because, to be honest, I have been straying away from drawing people lately, if you haven't noticed, and I want to try and see how well I can still draw a person. So I decided to draw a nice lady here, as you can see. Just a basic portrait. She is sitting down and she has sort of wavy hair, and yeah, I like this artwork. I'm using one of my favorite brush pens to do the lines, as you can see, and I wonder how well these watercolors are going to cover up those lines, because they do seem to be a little bit more opaque, so we're going to test that. And for the background, I just want to draw a circle here with whatever I could find that was round in shape, and then I'm going to make a bit of a gold color for the background. Now we have a yellow and a red, and I mixed that to try and get a nice metallic gold color, and I actually think it worked pretty well. It's a nice tone, so obviously these colors do mix well together and they look pretty nice. After this, I decided to test out some colors that I hadn't used in the last artwork, because obviously I want to try and test each color as much as I can. So I used the metallic black, and it does look really nice. It has like a sort of really dark silvery sheen on it, which looks pretty good, and I used a metallic red for the seat that she's sitting on. And after this, I decided to go in with my Copics because I didn't want every piece of this artwork to be metallic. I kind of wanted to have some parts metallic, some parts not, so that the bits that actually were metallic would be like accentuated more, if that makes sense. So I did a few layers just of color, like basic color on the skin with a little bit of blending there, but also just some flat color on the hair and on her pants. And we're actually going to layer in some metallic over the top of those pieces. As you can see, I am using a little bit of white and red on the hair, and as you can see, it just adds a little bit more dimension. It adds a bit of highlight and shadow to it, and it does kind of cover up those lines a little bit, but they are still visible, and I think that actually adds a nice little effect to it. Now for the pants, I wanted to have a bit of a fabric texture on it, and I decided to do like mix a little bit of the green and blue to make a nice aqua color, and I'm just drawing lots of little dots all over those pants, and hopefully they will show up when they're dry and it'll be nice and metallic looking, and I think it'll look pretty cool. After this, all it's left to do is just a few little details here and there, like her lips, some highlights in her eyes, etc. And then we are pretty much done. I like this artwork. I think it's pretty cute. It's simple, but it looks good, and I like the way that the colors sheen. After this, I felt like doing one more illustration, so we are going to do another one, and I decided I wanted to see how well I could paint something like crystals with these metallic watercolors, because I feel like it would work pretty well with all of the colors that we have, but also the fact that they're really like nice and shiny and pretty, and I felt like that would look really cool if I painted like some rainbowish kind of crystals with these watercolors. So I made some basic outlines with my mechanical pencil, and then I lightened it very much so that it was barely there, and I used my kneadable eraser for that. And afterwards I added in a lot of water, and then I did a lot of wet blends. So basically lots of water, and then I would drop in some colors and just let them blend and mix together to try and get some really cool like soft gradients that would work really well for something like a rainbow crystal. And this method was actually quite relaxing and fun to do, because you didn't really have too much error because as long as you stay in the shapes and then you just like drop in colors randomly, it's gonna look pretty cool. For some areas I added in more color, so it was darker, and then some areas I added in less color, and I also used a bit of that metallic white so that it was lighter but also still you know, shiny and pretty. And yeah, this was a pretty basic and easy method for painting crystals. If you want to try it and tag me on social media, definitely do that because I'd love to see what you guys can create. And I have to say, honestly, these metallic paints are just so pretty, and I'm really glad that I got them as well. And honestly, they have a few more sets in different colors. I know that they have a set with a lot of different golds, which looks so pretty. So honestly, I'm very tempted to buy some of those as well. Probably online this time though. Once I got the first layer done, and yes, that was actually one layer, I went back in and I just added in some darker parts of purple and blue and red, and just like more pigmented mixes of paint, because I just wanted to have just a little bit more contrast in there, a bit more shadow. And another thing that I decided to do afterwards is I got out my alcohol-based marker, and then I colored in the whole background black, and that's because I wanted these gemstones to look like they're glowing and really shiny and like bright. So that black background really helped push them into like a bright sort of like color, instead of like, you know, just a white background and then like darker parts of color, if that makes sense. Yeah, contrast. And I did a few layers of that marker just to make sure that it was really nice and dark, and I didn't color in the whole page because honestly this was like a square kind of shaped artwork on a long piece of paper, so I decided to cut that so that it was more square and the framing was better. And here is the final results for this artwork, and honestly I really like it. It's probably my favorite out of the 3 that I made today. So yeah, here's the final results for each 3 artworks, and honestly I like them all. I did struggle a little bit with the galaxy one, but I got it somewhere where I was happy, and overall I had a really good time painting with these metallic watercolors. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I enjoyed making this video and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Please comment below which one of these artworks is your favorite, and if you have tried out metallic watercolors, whether they're like gold or like gem colors or anything like that, I'd love to know because they're so fun. Hope you're all having a lovely day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye everyone.